You are not what you think you are. You are sitting in the dirt, holding a piece of meat you did not kill. You waited until the lions finished. You chased off the vultures, and now you have what is left. Cold, stringy, covered in grit. You tear off a chunk, put it in your mouth, and bite down. Nothing happens. You chew for a minute, then 10 minutes, then an hour. Your jaw aches. Your teeth wear down. Your stomach barely registers anything. The popular image of early humans eating raw meat is dramatic. A2020.com. Powerful hunter tearing into fresh prey like a wolf, swallowing chunks with primal force. That image is a lie. A human jaw is not a wolf's jaw. Our teeth are not designed to shear through thick hide and elastic muscle. Try to eat raw wild meat, not of sushi-grade fillet, but actual wild game, and you do not look like a predator. You look like a hostage to your own lunch. Chimpanzees, our closest living relatives, spend up to 6 hours every day just chewing. 6 hours. If you are an early hominid surviving on raw, roots, tough leaves, and scavenged muscle. Eating is not a break from survival. Eating is survival. Every hour you spend grinding raw tissue is an hour you are not hunting, not watching for leopards, not mating. You are sitting in the open, burning calories just to extract calories. And the math is completely against you. Your brain demands energy. Your body demands energy. But raw food holds on to its nutrients with a stubborn, biological grip. The digestive system floods your gut with acid and enzymes, fighting for calories that largely pass through untouched. You can eat all day and still slowly starve. There is a hard physical ceiling on how much energy a primate can extract from raw food in 24 hours. Early humans had hit that ceiling. They could not grow larger brains because they could not physically chew enough calories to fuel them. To break the ceiling, they needed a new stomach, one that existed outside the body. The moment everything fractured, before cooking, fire was not a tool. It was a predator made of light and heat, something to run from, not toward. We do not know exactly when an ancient human first picked up a piece of animal flesh caught in a wildfire. We do not know who took that first bite of charred, ash-covered meat, but the moment they did, the trajectory of life on Earth permanently changed. To an ancient hominid, a cooked piece of meat was not a culinary preference. It was a technological miracle. When you apply heat to meat, the heat does the chewing for you. It denatures the proteins. It melts tough, rubbery collagen into soft gelatin. It ruptures plant cells in wild tubers, unlocking starch that would otherwise pass through the body completely untouched. Cooking is an external stomach. It pre-digests food before it ever reaches your mouth. A meal that took 4 hours to chew could be consumed in 20 minutes. A root that was toxic raw became safe. A scavenged carcass crawling with parasites was sterilized. Today, people complain if a restaurant leaves their steak in the oven 3 minutes too long. Back then, fire was the only thing standing between a human and death by parasitic infection. But the real revolution was not in the mouth, it was in the math of human energy. Digestion is expensive. Your body burns enormous calories just to break food down. Cooking collapsed that cost. Suddenly, humans absorbed more energy and spent less getting it. A massive caloric surplus appeared out of nowhere. Nature does not waste a surplus. If a body part becomes unnecessary, evolution quietly removes it. Over generations, something strange happened to the human body. Our jaws shrank. Our teeth grew smaller. The thick skull muscles that powered our chewing began to weaken and disappear. Most importantly, our digestive tract shrank. We lost the heavy gut required to ferment raw plant matter and break down tough raw tissue. Look at the skeleton of a gorilla. The rib cage flares outward at the bottom, like a bellroom for a massive digestive system. Look at the skeleton of Homo erectus, the first human ancestor fully dependent on cooked food. The ribcage narrows, the waist pulls in, the gut shrank so that another organ could grow. The brain tissue is biologically expensive, roughly 20% your body's resting energy from an organ that is only 2% of your weight. You cannot power a modern human brain on a raw wild diet without spending nearly every waking hour eating. Fire bought us our brains. That transaction, however, came with a clause our ancestors never got to read. You are not a wild animal that learned to use a stove. The assumption is that cooking is just a human habit, a preference, something we could discard if civilization collapsed. This is a fatal misunderstanding of what a human being actually is. You are an animal that has been biologically restructured by fire. And, at some point in our evolutionary past, that restructuring passed a point of no return. If you dropped a wild wolf into a forest without its pack, it would know what to do. If you dropped a modern human into an abundant, thriving wilderness stripped of all tools and fire, they would face a quiet, slow emergency. Not immediate death, something more insidious. Studies of sustained raw food diets, the real kind, wild plants, and unprocessed animal foods, not modern smoothie bowls, show that the human body absorbs dramatically fewer calories from raw food than cooked. Sustained raw, wild diets lead to significant weight loss, hormonal disruption, and over time, a caloric deficit the body simply cannot maintain. The gut cannot extract enough energy to sustain a modern human brain at full capacity. We are not incapable of eating raw food. We are incapable of thriving on it. There is a difference, but the difference is civilization. We are the only species on the planet whose biology was reshaped by an external technology. We traded our massive gut and powerful jaws for a larger brain, and in doing so, permanently lost the digestive machinery required to sustain ourselves on the raw, wild world. We became obligate cooks. A chimpanzee can sleep in the rain, wake up, eat a handful of raw leaves, and thrive. A human needs shelter, dry tinder, a spark, and an hour of preparation just to safely consume the same calories. We outsourced our survival to an external chemical reaction. Fire is not a tool we invented. Fire is an organ we left outside our bodies. Without it, we are not dead but fundamentally diminished, operating below the threshold that makes us human. And this dependency did not stop at biology. Because cooking takes time, and fire must be maintained, humans had to stop wandering alone and gather. Someone had to tend the fire. Someone had to gather the food. Someone had to carry it back. For the first time in history, a meal was not something you ate the moment you found it. It was something you delayed. You carried it. You waited for it to cook. You shared it. The necessity of fire forced early humans to look at each other, to divide labor, to communicate, to wait together. The hearth did not just cook food, it cooked society. Beneath that warmth was a cold ultimatum. If the fire went out, the tribe suffered. You were no longer tied to the land. You were tied to the flame. Walk into your kitchen. Look at the microwave, the oven, the smooth, silent stovetop. We treat these as appliances of convenience. We complain if a machine takes 2 minutes instead of 1 to warm our food. We scroll our phones while dinner heats itself. We have completely forgotten what these machines actually are. They are not appliances. They are the modern form of a 2-million-year-old biological contract. Our ancestors signed in the dirt, a contract, written not in language, but in the reshaping of bone and gut and skull. Every time you turn a dial and a blue flame appears, you are performing the exact same act that gave your species its mind. You are outsourcing digestion, so your brain has the energy to think, to worry, to build, to wonder. We look at our soft, processed food and feel a strange guilt, like we have grown weak, disconnected from nature's harshness, like we have become fragile. Fragility was the entire point. Soft food is what allowed humans to stop surviving and start becoming. The less energy we spent chewing, the more energy we had for everything else. Every softened meal is 2 million years of accumulated leverage. You do not have a large brain because you are naturally superior. You have a large brain because somewhere in the deep past, a starving, frightened primate made a single discovery. That fire could do the work, their jaw could not. They did not know what they were doing. They could not have known. They just reached into the dark toward the warmth and took a bite. Next time you sit down to eat a hot meal, notice how little effort it takes to swallow. Notice the absence of pain in your jaw. That ease is not comfort. That ease is the only reason you are still here.